Pick wrong here, and a batch of clips can cost 60% more than it should. Seedance is ByteDance's fast-moving video model, built around flat, predictable per-second pricing. Runway is the polished, credit-based platform most studios already default to, without checking if it's still the best deal. Both companies make big claims about speed, quality, and consistency, but the numbers behind those claims don't all hold up the same way once you check the source. Test 1 is output quality. Get this wrong and you're stuck re-rendering half your batch the night before a deadline, because what looked fine in the preview doesn't hold up on a bigger screen. On paper, Runway's Gen 4 outputs at 1080p by default, while Seedance 2.0's native output sits at 720p, and that gap shows up across several independent comparison write-ups. A handful of those same write-ups also claim Seedance sits ahead of Runway, Kling, and Veo on so-called LO benchmarks. None of them point to an actual name leaderboard, though, so treat that as a community chatter, not a verified score. Seedance tends to hold its look steady on a tightly written prompt, while Runway varies more between generations, which is why it leans hard on its built-in extend and in-painting tools. Runway's resolution edge is the one claim here you can go verify yourself, so it takes test 1. Drop a comment if resolution or consistency has mattered more in your own projects, because this next test is where a cheap price tag can quietly turn into wasted hours. That's 1 for Runway, 0 for Seedance. My name is Brian, and I'm in these tools 12 hours a day, so you don't have to be. Test 2 is generation speed. A slow model doesn't waste your patience, it wastes real production time, and that cost never shows up on the pricing page. Runway's Gen 4 Turbo can turn out a 10-second clip in about 30 seconds, which multiple independent write-ups describe as roughly 3 times faster than its predecessor. That speed costs more, since Turbo runs 5 credits per second against 12 for standard Gen 4. Seedance 2.0 is reported to have dropped from 5+ minutes down to under 2 minutes per clip earlier this year, but that number traces back to a single blog and hasn't been independently checked. Right now, on what's documented and confirmed, Runway is faster in absolute terms, so it wins test 2 as well. That puts Runway up 2-0, but the next test is the one Seedance was actually built to win. One of the biggest problems I run into when using AI agents is turning their output into YouTube content I can actually use to market my product. That's why this video is sponsored by Subscriber, a tool that helps business owners connect their AI agents to YouTube and market their products without spending 10 hours every week creating content. You can connect Claude or ChatGPT directly to Subscriber. It then analyzes your business, website, and YouTube channel to help you create SEO-optimized video ideas, scripts, thumbnails, and even complete videos that actually match your brand. What I like most is that every week, Subscriber gives me a list of high-potential video ideas I can immediately execute, and it can even help edit videos for me, with or without my face, including videos like the one you're watching right now. It's easy to get started, and you can try Subscriber for free using the link in the description below. Now back to the video. ByteDance has since announced Seedance 2.5, promising speeds closer to real-time and native 30-second 4K output, though that's ByteDance's own claim with no outside benchmark behind it yet. Test 3 is pricing and credits, the one everyone came here for. Pick the pricier option for high-volume work and your margin disappears 1 clip at a time, which is exactly the trap this test exists to catch. Seedance's API runs about 7.5 cents for a 5-second clip. Runway's $15 a month standard plan works out to roughly 12 cents for the same 5 seconds once you run the credit math, and that's the 60% gap from the top of this video. Seedance's flat per second pricing also scales in a way you can predict months in advance. Runway's credit system, on the other hand, is one of the most common complaints from creators who burn through a monthly allotment faster than they expected. This one isn't close, and Seedance finally gets on the board. That's Runway 2, Seedance 1, and Seedance needed that win badly after starting 2 tests down. Stick with me, because the last 4 tests are where this decision actually flips. Test 4 is style control and consistency. Lose this one and your character's face drifts a little in every new shot, until scene 5 looks like you swapped actors halfway through. Runway backs its claim with a real number, and I checked it against Runway's own research page instead of a blog summary. It states 95% plus facial consistency across clips 10 seconds and longer, using a system it calls world consistency that anchors generation to as many as 3 reference images. VentureBeat covered that figure independently too, not just Runway's own marketing. Seedance 2.0 markets a similar pitch, matching a character's face and outfit from a single reference image. It also promises the ability to copy a camera move straight from a reference video. But every source behind that claim is a Seedance affiliated blog, and none of them attach a comparable number. Runway simply has the receipt here, and Seedance doesn't, so Runway takes test 4-2. That's 3 for Runway, 1 for Seedance, and there's exactly 1 test left to decide whether Seedance's price advantage was ever going to be enough on its own. Test 5 is platform availability and limits, and this decides whether you can even build on either tool starting today. I pulled this from Runway's own developer docs, not a reseller's page, and they lay out 5 tiers, running from 1 concurrent generation up to 20. Daily caps run from 50 generations up to 25,000, and monthly spend caps go from $100 up to 100,000. There's no hard limit on requests per minute either, as long as you stay inside your daily quota. Seedance 2.0's public API, per financial press citing Volcano Engine's own site, is still marked coming soon. Access right now runs through Volkswagen, ByteDance's enterprise cloud Byte Plus, or third-party resellers, each with its own separate billing on top. The only rate limits actually published belong to the older Seedance 1.5 Pro tier, somewhere between 2 and 10 requests per minute. That's not the model this video has been testing. Runway wins the final test clean, which brings the scoreboard to a final 4-1. Seedance earned its 1 win on unit economics alone. That's a real, checkable cost advantage per clip, priced by the second instead of by a credit bundle, and a model that doesn't punish you for generating a lot. It's a genuine edge, just a narrow one, against everything else on the board. Runway took everything else. It has a sharper default resolution and a documented speed advantage in turbo mode. It also backs up a published consistency number instead of a marketing line, plus a first-party API that's already open for business instead of one still marked coming soon. That's 4 different tests and 4 different reasons, each one backed by something you can go check yourself. If cost per clip is your entire spreadsheet and you're generating at real volume, Seedance is the cheaper option, and that's a legitimate reason to use it. If you need a pipeline, you can build today. Character consistency you can point to a real number for, and rate limits you can plan capacity around. Runway is the one that delivers all 3 right now. The overall default pick is Runway. It's the only one of these 2 tools that backs almost every major claim with something you can go verify yourself. Seedance's price advantage holds up fine on its own, but it arrives bundled with claims that are either unverified or, in the case of its own API, not even available yet. One thing the docs don't spell out on the pricing page is that Runway's web app credits and its API credits are 2 completely separate pools. That's confirmed straight from Runway's own help center. That $15 standard plan you signed up for in the app buys you exactly 0 API credits. The moment you move from prototyping in the browser to actually building a pipeline, you're funding a second balance from scratch. That's a cost a lot of people don't see coming until the first invoice. Kling keeps getting dragged into this argument in the comments, and it deserves its own head-to-head. Put real, checkable numbers next to it instead of screenshots and marketing pages, and the math changes again. That comparison is coming next.